We are happening slowly but surely. So if you're with me and you're watching this as the recording from Zoom, take some deep breath with me. And I don't know if we're there or not. Can you check, Christian? Just tell me.
Yeah, let me
Can't
see
see.
if it shows up.
I'm saying it's live.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, everybody, welcome. Happy Saturday. Yes, as I said a minute ago, if you're watching this is a beautiful day where I'm located today. We have almost like a summer day in the spring, which is so exciting for everyone, including myself. And we have Christian with us, Christian Love, who is the owner and of a page called Motherhood Magic. So I highly recommend you going there, and thank you for being with us this morning. And Christian is going to turn her camera off. So you're going to see her name, but you may not see her. Some things need to happen in the background because we're in different time zones. So here I am, and I'm going to be speaking to you mostly, but she'll be there. And if you're on the page and you have comments to post, she will be responding. She'll be watching and checking it out. So is there anything you want to say before you turn off the camera, Christian?
No, I'm excited to be here, and thank you, Chantal, for hosting this. And I'm excited to dive into today's topic and get pumped for the day.
Thank you. And yes, thank you for being there. Amazing people. Like you have to understand that when people do this with us, they're doing this from the goodness of their hearts. So I really appreciate you taking your Saturday, an hour in your Saturday to just be with us. And yes, today's about being bold. So hopefully it will get you pumped up. And then you can, if you want, turn off the camera and I'm going to go on with it. So
Thank you.
everyone, I just want to do a review of what we talked about yesterday. We talked about fear. And why I'm reviewing yesterday is because it's tied into today. So, as you know, fear can be debilitating. Fear can completely freeze your mind, your body, your emotions. It can have you run into adrenaline rushes. It can make you feel like you're exhausted and tired. So yesterday we learned how to manage fear. We went through 5 steps. And the first one was to say hello to fear. The second one was, and hello to fear is important because you want to recognize that fear is there. And then we went into taking some deep breath because physiology affects our psychology. And then we went into locating in our body where the fear was, finding if it was in the gut, in the heart, in the mind, in the neck, in the jaw, wherever it is. And then we made contact with it, named it. And then we asked what it needed from us in order to calm down, and then hopefully got to a place where we're able to address the fear and transform it. So why it's important is because being bold is about being able to stand your ground and about being who you are. In the midst of a cancer journey, and a breast cancer journey most specifically, we are faced with all kinds of decisions to make, and we are also faced with people who actually either want to influence our decisions or want to make decisions for us because they believe they know better. Now, maybe the first time you have had this experience is what happened. You basically had to do this and you had to make yourself be um, the conduit for other people to make decisions for you. So I'm here today to tell you that you own your own reality. You own your own self, you own your body, you own your decisions, you own your health, you own the choices you make. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, as always, it seems like I have to run to the door and let the dog in, and I'll be right back. I guess it's a daily occurrence here. So here we are talking about what it means to be bold. So standing your ground is really what we're talking about. So you have to be able to eliminate the fear in order to hear clearly what your intuition and your gut feeling is telling you about how to proceed. So proceeding with a medical diagnosis, proceeding in how you change your lifestyle to help your body heal, proceeding in making decisions. And sometimes this implies saying yes and saying no to certain people and certain things. So I have listened to a lot of people, and in fact, I highly recommend listening to this book or reading this book from Dr. Kelly Turner called Radical Hope. And there are multiple stories. Dr. Kelly Turner actually wrote the first book entitled Radical Remission and did a lot of research on women and men having all kinds of cancers and studied the 10 factors of what made them have what is called a radical remission. And one of them was about self-empowerment. The stories all had in common that people decided to take matter in their own hands and make decisions that were empowering to their body, to their mind, to their heart, and to their life in general. So I highly recommend going back and listening to that book. I still listen to it because it inspires me when I need inspiration about the choices that I make every day. Being bold means making choices, taking a stand for what you believe, believing that what you want is possible in your health, in your life, in your relationship, and believing that if you want to be alive, it is your priority and it becomes your choice, the choices that you make every day. So all of us, I believe, sometimes take life for granted. And even after I had my first diagnosis, I actually continue my life as usual. For the most part, I had a period of time of about a year where I made a lot of changes in order to really follow my heart and follow what I truly believe was my path and my purpose and my destiny. I was shocked, as I said yesterday, to find myself 7 years later or 6 years later being diagnosed again with breast cancer. So now we're a year later and I'm here again to speak about it. And I'm really determined, and determination comes from that same place inside where you make a choice to speak your truth and you're able to stand in who you are with empowerment. So when I'm talking about this yesterday, I was talking about what's called the first chakra. If you don't know anything about the chakras, don't worry about it. They're the 7 centers of energy in yoga. I've studied and taught yoga for over 15 years. So I relate to that because standing your ground is about rooting down and being into the moment. It's about breathing. It's about feeling your body. It's about trying to connect to this current reality, and so that your mind doesn't take you down or take you out. So then we have the second and the third. The second is really about feeling and allowing yourself to know what you want, feel what you like, and be able to go with your emotions and really let them flow. Being bold is about the third, which is about having your sense of self. It's right in the belly, the center, solar plexus. And it is about having your center, literally your sense of self. So I'm just going to, for a moment there, share my screen because I would like to share with you what we're talking about today. So basically, here we go. I'm going to take that out a second. Hold on. Stop sharing. I'm sorry for this a little interruption. I just want to be able to show you what we're talking about here. Okay. So here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So being bold, living your purpose with passion, and choosing to align your actions with your heart vision is what it means to be living in your third chakra, or in the center of who you are. And we've already talked about how it relates to fear. And today we're going to talk about how to define your purpose and how to live your purpose daily. And so I'm very aware when we go through something like breast cancer that our days in and days out may be consumed by just living in the body, just trying to make it through if we're in the midst of a transition in terms of treatment. If we're done with our treatments, which is really called remission, then we rebuild our life, and we may have had to make some changes in terms of, where we live, the work we do, the diet we have, the places we go, the people we hang out with. So all these choices have happened maybe or in the process of happening. And so being bold really means fostering what matters to you. So choosing to live, and I'm just going to move this little box here just so that you can see, really means stoking the fire of your will. The third center is about willpower. And choosing to heal is also a choice that comes from that place where you prioritize your health on a level. You choose to build a foundation underneath your feet that allows for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health to flow in your body. Your body wants to heal. I say this many times in most of my recordings live. Your body wants to heal if you're giving it a chance. Now, a lot of cancers have breast cancers. We don't have all the same cancer based on our genetic background, based on the toxicity that we've been exposed to, based on a trauma history, based on the conditions we're living in right now, the stress level we have. So all of these are factors that influence your healing process and your recovery process. So when you make choices, you may want to ask your heart to help you. Your intuition, which is also one of the 10 key factors that Dr. Kelly Turner identified that help people have a radical remission. Your intuition plays a very important role. And there's different centers of intuition. The gut feeling is the third chakra, and the heart is under center for intuition. And it's really what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But really, in terms of having your own wisdom, your wisdom lives in your own heart. And so you can follow that trend or that central, what's called the central pillar, the channel in your body, go back inside and feel what decisions feel right. And when it feels right, it is usually right. Now, in terms of making choices, prioritizing and having boundaries matter a lot. You may have experienced that already, having had to say no to certain people who really wanted to help you, who were wanting to almost invade your space, and you did not want to have that happen. Because let's face it, we all live in our own bubble. We're meaning-making machines, which means we actually project onto other people our own reality. So you may have experienced that some people have done that to you. They look at you and either they already see you dead or they see you on the decline, when in fact what you want is the opposite. You want to be seen as somebody who is in process of healing and be given a chance to completely heal and come full circle into who you are. So that goes to the next point, which is to find support. So after you learn to say yes and no to certain things, people, events, places, situations in your life, then you want to find people who are going to back you up. It's not always easy to stand in your truth. In fact, most people who are cited in Dr. Kelly Turner's book have had to do it on their own first. They were motivated by something intrinsic inside of them, pushing them to find a different way to heal. And then they find other people along the way that sort of created a team for them to be able to heal. So if you are listening to this recording, I do want to ask you to take a moment and pause, because you already know what it means to be bold. I know you do, because you have had to survive and or are in the process of surviving this experience. So here's how you know. The next slide will be about you finding your boldness, identifying it. But often we live in a paradoxical world. We find what we want by knowing and feeling what we don't want. So these are some of the things that makes us not feel bold. Vulnerability, when something affects your physical reality, such as breast cancer, you may feel you don't feel well physically, you don't have all your energy, you don't have all your power, and it's really hard to even contemplate this idea that maybe you are bold. Confusion is settled into your mind at times because you hear too many people talk to you, you got too many advices, different sources of information, either through your treatment and even after, how to continue maintaining your health and building your immune system. You may be confused. And you also may be scared of the outcome. Let's face it, we don't know. No one knows. I don't. What the outcome will be of my daily actions, days in and days out. And then change can create a feeling of uprootedness. So the little picture there is on top of it, but basically being uprooted means literally not feeling connected to this current reality. The roots of a tree go really deep. The taller the tree, the deeper the roots. So when change happens, especially on a physical level, it creates a feeling of being uprooted and chaos. So boldness is what it takes to live a life in remission. You have to make that choice. All these feelings are normal, all these reality, and maybe a whole other list that I have not thought of this morning or yesterday can be your reality. And the truth is, it is not the end of it. It is simply a moment in time that you're experiencing. Confusion, chaos, being uprooted, feeling vulnerable, all of this happens on a momentary basis. And yet making a decision to move through those feelings and create for yourself the reality that you want to live is what we're talking about today. So there are 6 keys to feeling and finding your natural boldness. Number 1 is ground yourself and stand in your truth. So you have to be able to hear your truth. And then we're going to go through these one by one in a couple of minutes. But really, we all know. I've coached people for 20 years. And often when people say to me, I don't know what I want, or I've never known what I wanted, I often say, yes, you do. And for most of us, what happens in the mind is that we have a little voice that pipes in and starts arguing back that either we don't know, or what we know is not right, or that other people know better. So this is all sort of murking the water of your own mind. But if you calm down and you go into yourself, and that's why, yesterday we're talking about dealing with fear and being able to breathe and being in your body and listen, because once your fears calm down, you will hear your truth. And I'm not talking truth with a capital T. I'm talking about little truths. So that's number 1. Number 2, get clear on what you want. Why does it matter? Because that's how your mind is lining up. Your mind and your body are connected. So once you know what you want, and sometimes you may not know the big picture, because again, back to slide before, the outcome we have no clue what the outcome is going to be, yet we may have a desire. And it's important to have a desire for health, for balance, for relationship, loving support, physical environment that supports you, vitality. All of these are words that I'm putting out that are part of the vision that you might want for yourself. And then based on that, you make empowering choices. You choose every single day when you get up in the morning. That's a choice. And then throughout your day, the way you live your schedule is filled with choices you make. Now, if you feel like life is happening to you, it's time to reel that back in and say to yourself, no more of that. This is my life. And that's how you become bold. You take a stand by saying, my life, my choices, my daily schedule, and everything else around it is based on what you want. And then you prioritize your actions on this. Like I just said, basically create a schedule. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And no matter what happens in your day, number 1 happens, number 2 and number 3 happens. And the rest will happen eventually. And then along with this is creating some strong boundaries. Boundaries matter a lot. You do have to be able to say no to what doesn't feel good, to what drains you, in order to be able to say yes and have the energy for what you really want. I say this to people all the time. No is a complete answer in a complete sentence. It's not no because. Doesn't have to be explained. Doesn't have to be justified. It's simply no, I don't want to. And then surround yourself with people that are wanting to support you. So these are the 6 steps on how to be bold. Stand your ground, stand in your truth, get clear on what you want, your vision, believe in it, make empowering choices to back up that vision, prioritize your actions, have strong boundaries, say yes, say no to where you need to say yes and no, and surround yourself with people who are actually believing in your choices. So here we go. First things first. It's a picture of me many years ago doing yoga. This is called the goddess pose. It's about rooting down physically and whatever works for you. This is just it's an image of me doing yoga, but it could be you doing yoga. It could be you walking in the woods, walking in nature, putting your feet on the ground. It could be you taking some deep breath, laying down, and all that good stuff. So basically what you want to do is stand your ground physically, calm down your nervous system, take some deep breaths, let your mind empty out. So we talked about that yesterday, but I'm revisiting this because if you're able to be in this moment with me, even if you listen, you're not with me now, but you will listen later. Just feel your physical presence in this moment. Don't allow yourself to be pulled out, distracted. Your life is happening right now. So how do you know your truth? Is by being in the moment. So the ways you do this is literally by physically engaging your attention in sensations. Sensations in your body, feet on the ground, deep breath, relax the shoulders, moving, all of it brings your mind to a quieter place, brings you more in your center, and here we are. We go to step number 2. So get clear on what you want. So now this is tricky because it could be based on big choices, and it could also be geared towards smaller choices. So getting clear on what you want, if you don't know what the big picture is, or if you kind of bump up against your own belief system, because that will happen. Like I said earlier, you may decide I want to be healthy and yet you don't know the outcome. Or I want to, maybe you're going to listen to me right now and that little voice is going to pipe in the back and say, what is she talking about? It's not even possible that I can have what I want, right? You can argue back with me. And instead of arguing back with me, just pay attention to that little voice. And sometimes it's a big, loud voice that takes over. So that covers up completely what you want. And all you hear is this naysayer in your mind. In coaching, sometimes they call it the gremlins. They can call it the inner critic in another world of psychotherapy. So basically, it's the same voice, the one that will pound on your head to make you believe you cannot have what you want. So if you hear that voice, it doesn't feel good, call it out. So either you talk to someone or you write in a journal, or you have a therapist, anyone you can put your words out to is important to have. You have yourself do this because then you separate yourself from that voice. When you know what you want, there's a feeling of rightness. You eat something that feels right, it clicks in. You get up in the morning, you look at your schedule, you know what will feel right for you to do and what will not feel right. And that's that simple. So these small choices build the foundation for your boldness to keep happening. Saying no, it may sound really silly, but saying no to something that doesn't feel good in your palate as you eat builds a muscle in inner strength for you to say no to the bigger things that you have to say no to. So you can start this exercise daily by asking yourself, how do I want to be today? How do I want my life to be today? How do I want my activities to be? Who do I want to hang out with? So that's the small vision for your daily life. Then you can go and expand that into your health. You can say, how do I want my recovery to be? How do I want to not look like as in, the physical look, but really, how do I want to live in my body? How do I want to feel? How do I want to emotionally be? How do I want to think? I'm going through 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Thinking matters a lot because your mind is always trying to get recycling the same old thoughts, 70,000 thoughts the same way every single day. Only a few of them are new. So when you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, you know it's time to pay attention. It's not what you want. You make the choice and you reroute that. There's all kinds of information out there, and I'm not going to go into it because that's not the topic for today. But I just want to tell you that this mind of yours can take you out and make you feel like you can't stand in your strength, because being bold is about having your inner strength, your core strength, and knowing what you want and going for it. So what feels right is right. Your body wants to heal. Allow yourself to believe, change your belief system, and then see yourself as healed. They've done a lot of research in the world of Olympic athletes to really find out that those who are able to really be successful see themselves through their trajectory. Whatever their performance is, they walk in their mind's eyes all the way from beginning to the end. They see themselves do it. And they see themselves standing in a podium and holding that medal. So design the outcome. It's written right there. Create your future. Design the outcomes. Either draw, speak, tell somebody the story of what you want it to be. Write it down for yourself or someone else. Read it to someone. Daydream. Sometimes hard focus is really challenging to go like this and try to put that tunnel vision towards what you want. And it feels like it's work. So you want to kind of sometimes just lay down on a beautiful day like we have today, maybe in the sun, and let yourself daydream. What would feel good? What do I want? What do I really want in my heart, in my body, in my mind? And then you can create a vision board. It doesn't have to be complicated. 2 or 3 images that inspire you, that basically call you forward when you are doubting, because doubt will be part of the journey. So being bold is about being able to confront the doubts that you have, and then come back to who you are and what you want. So step number 3, making empowering choices. I cannot say enough about this. Like I said a few minutes ago, let's say somebody presents you with a meal that doesn't feel good. You may like them a lot. You may think they've put a lot of time and energy into it, but you know that if you put that food in your body, it's not going to feel good. That's making an empowering choice. So taking charge is one of the key factors of people who have experienced radical remissions. They actually have decided that they are, number 1, the leader of their own life, and everybody else is to follow. It doesn't mean that they don't take suggestions from other people. It doesn't mean that they don't listen to other people, but they listen to their own filter. So it means that we have the ability to filter. That's how we make choices. Information coming in, things that are being offered to us, things that are happening to us, we filter and we decide if it's right. And that's how we decide. We make choices. Those choices, especially when we deal with something like breast cancer, have to be empowering to your health. Food you eat, the breath, exercise, movement. It's another component of these 10 keys that Dr. Kelly Turner has identified in her book, Radical Remission. Stress management, sleep. If you can't sleep, your body cannot recover. It's a foundational thing. The body heals when it sleeps, and the body also heals when there's less inflammation. Stress causes inflammation. So making empowering choices means every day when you get up, you choose how you're going to nurture, nourish, support your health and your body's ability to heal. And then making empowering choices, also aligning this current reality with the future. Your current reality is building your future. When you say no to certain things today, you actually say no and say yes to other things, not just for today, but for tomorrow. So when I think about future, I don't think long-term future, even though I can see long-term, it doesn't mean I'm attached to my long-term vision And yet I entertain the possibility that there will be a long-term vision. And yet every single day I ask myself, is my today reality living what I want my future to be? Because really that's what it means to live in the moment, to live an empowered life. It's like all these things that we think that in the future, when we have, then we will be, we have to bring them back and be able to have today some of what we think tomorrow would be better at and be better for. So I'm talking a lot today. I know Kristen is listening in the background, and I'm not going to call her out because I know she's busy, but I just want to say that Kristen is really a big proponent of lifestyle. She knows the value of health and food related to health, and the value of exercise, and the value of time management, and also stress management. And the reason I'm saying this right now is because that's what she's choosing today. And I completely honor that. So, and what I mean by this is she's got a daughter that she has to take care of. And it's Saturday and it's really early morning where she is. She's not in the same time zone as I am here, Eastern Standard Time. And so for me, when I acknowledge my own choices and I make myself have the right to have my own choices, I have more space also for other people to do this. And that's what happens. It's kind of a gift, you know, when you give yourself the gift of empowering choices, you also honor other people who make the same kind of choices. So I just want to put a plug for that. Okay, so we've got three. We got ground, stand in your truth. We got not making choices. We have choose what you want, focus on what you want, make choices based on what you want, and now prioritizing. So there was a time in my life, I've always been a very, very big bicycling rider. It's been my life. Bicycling, riding, biking is my salvation. People think I'm doing it for exercise, and I often say yes, and mostly for my mental sanity. When I ride my bike, I feel like I can think again. There's freedom, there's space in my mind. So that's a priority for me. And many years ago, I actually was working a corporate job with a suit on and everything else. And I would bring my bike and I would put it in the basement. There's a door going out in the basement. I would take my lunchtime to suit up and go riding my bike for 45 minutes. And I even went into the winter. Here, the winters are pretty cold. We have a lot of snow when it's really cold. And I still went. So people would say to me, I was in charge of the wellness program for that business or this corporation that I was working for. And people would say to me, how do you actually make time or find time to go exercise? And I would say, it's very simple. When I get up in the morning, I look at my schedule and I say to myself, when is that bike ride going to happen? My life was changing every day, like yours is probably. And so that was how I made it work. I made it my number one priority along the lines of healthy food. So when you get up in the morning, you want to ask yourself, if my health is my priority, how and when am I going to shop and cook for healthy food? How much downtime am I going to have? How much space can I have or take here and there? And again, you can decide that in the morning and then have to readjust and realign as the day goes by. But you know in the back of your mind that these are your priorities. You want to eat well. You want to be able to manage your stress and relax. You want to be able to sleep well. And everything else will fall into place. If you don't prioritize these things for yourself, no one else will. And that's why I'm focusing on this so much, because I really would like for you to make yourself a priority. Make your health physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Breast cancer is and can be deadly. And I'm here talking for quite some time so that hopefully you get inspired. You feel that who you are matters and what you want matters, and you make that a priority. So that's what it means to be bold, is put yourself in the front seat. Put yourself in the driver's seat in the car where you decide exactly where you're going to go, how you're going to go, and how enjoyable the ride will be. So I talked about do what you love daily a little bit before, but really put a plug in into your schedule so that you're not a working machine and you're not just doing things for other people all the time. You balance it out. And I know sometimes doing things for other people is really brings a lot of joy. I know it does to me. And at the same time, I have to balance it out. That's why I have these rocks stacked up, because if you're not lined up and prioritizing everything that matters to you, you're going to go off balance and it's going to tilt over. And then take small steps towards your future. So I talk a lot about the moment. I talk a lot about daily reality. I talk a lot about being in this moment because let's face it, this moment is all we have. And at the same time, we can take a little seed and plant it in the future and say to ourselves, today I'm going to take a little step. So for instance, I am very committed to doing this work. So every day I take a small step. That's my commitment. I have a full-time job and I also have a home and I also have, all kinds of other things and people around me. So I need to make this, and I want to make this a priority, but I don't have a lot of space in my life. And yet every day I committed to taking a little step. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes an hour, but I make sure by the end of the day that I took my little step towards what I want. So that's how you prioritize your actions. Now, having strong boundaries, it's pretty clear image there. I have this hand that says no, and that means no, and that's it. So identify the drains. Whatever drains you is not supposed to be in your life, because your life force is all you have. If you let the pipe open and leak out that way, it's not in your body to help you recover and rejuvenate. Say yes to what you want, because what you want brings you joy, brings you happiness, and then say no to what you don't want. It's that simple. Boundaries are like this. Yes to what I want, no to what I don't want. And if you have to negotiate, sometimes we do. We don't always have everything we want. I know. And at the same time, if you have to negotiate, keep in the back of your mind what you really truly want. So that's having strong boundaries. Now, surrounding yourself with people who really care about you matters a lot, because a rising tide elevates everyone. So for instance, I'm part of a business, a women's business group. And yesterday I was feeling a little caving in about, all my efforts and what I was feeling like I was getting. And I put the word out that I kind of was needing some lift. And people came and started talking to me. And Christian was one of them. I stand here talking to you, and I don't know if you are ever going to listen to this, whoever is going to listen to it. I stand in talking to you in my own truth, in my own desire to share something with you that I know is true for me. And I don't know whether or not it resonates with you or not. And I take a chance and I take a risk, and I'm being bold as I do this. And at the same time, sometimes I need other people to back me up. So I do have a lot of people behind me that are holding me, standing with me in the process of doing this. And you deserve to have the same thing. So support matters a lot. And then basically, here we are. We're going to look at how you want your story to be written. And I'm going to stop sharing the slides because I want to talk to you a little bit more directly. So we've spent about 40 minutes together, and I know you're not here to talk to me. Someone, in fact, told me, one of my wise friends said to me, maybe somebody will be listening to you secretly, because this is too much of a touchy subject, a touchy topic. And I believe that it is. So I have been, and I still am, somebody who can stay in the background when I'm belonging to a Facebook group, a Facebook page, or any group. Most often, I have been known to be a leader. I step forward and I become the person who creates something that I see the need for. And I've also been somebody who is able to be on the background and just watch and listen to what's happening. So I am inviting you today, whether you listen to this entirely, I wish you are. We're 40 minutes in the mix. I've been talking. I'm hoping that you will listen. And I'm talking to you because I really want to spark that flame, that fire in your belly, the fire that is, you deserve to have what you want and stand in what you believe. That's what I'm here for. I believe that healing is possible. I believe that you can create the life you want in this moment, that you are here for a purpose. So I talked a lot about purpose earlier, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about it now. But what I've covered so far is the coal or the wood underneath your fire. Number one, root down. Number two, make choices, create the vision you want. And number three, make choices in relationship to what you want. Number four, I'm sorry, create priorities. And then number five, have the boundaries around it. All of this is in the service of you being here and shining your own light, being the person that you are meant to be in this planet. All of us came here with a purpose. Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about some of us have bigger purposes than others, and they're not they're not more important. They just, we hear about them more. Let's just put it that way. Like someone like Oprah, for instance, or some of the big names that we know. They're like visible people, and we know that they're out there living their purpose to to people. It's basically known, it's well known. Some of us have quieter purposes. Some of us, our purpose is to be a mom and hold a family, and that's good enough. And some of us, I know one woman I know has 5 children, and she's done an amazing job being a mom. That was her purpose, and helping other moms. And part of Christian's purpose is to be that mom that is actually standing by herself with a child and making life important decisions for both her and her child, and really trying to create a business at the same time. That is part of her purpose, helping other women that are mothers and want to have a life that they truly feel fulfilled with. Other people have purposes like being writers or being researchers or whatever you do for work. I am hoping and planting a seed, a stake in the ground for you to be doing for work what your purpose is about. Now, how do you know what your purpose is? Your purpose wants you as much as you want it. So that means whatever you're inclined to do naturally, whatever is, whatever lights up your heart, whatever is, has been fulfilling thus far. It doesn't have to be work related. Sometimes a hobby, building, having a hobby can lead you to your purpose. And I'm going to give you an example because yesterday it's just fresh on my mind. A friend of mine could not bring her dog to the rehab place. Her dog has a torn ACL, ligament in his back leg. And she was out of town. And so she asked one of her friends who's currently without work, could you please bring my dog to this physical therapy for dogs place? And her friend was completely enthusiastic, decided I'm going to go for it. She did the whole treatment that needed to happen, came home and wrote 3 pages of notes and took some videos to explain to my friend what to do and how to take care of her dog. So as my friend is saying this to me, I say to her, oh my gosh, she's so passionate about it. That must be her next step. She should be working with dogs. And then she started laughing and she said to me, well, unbeknown to her, the owner of the business offered her a job by the end of the day. That was it. That simple. This woman, younger woman, was so passionate about what she wanted that the passion that she exuded was seen by the owner of the business, and the owner of the business gave her a job on the spot. And she said to her, I hire people based on the energy they have more than the knowledge and the background they have. So that's what purpose is. It's something that lights you up. It's something that makes you happy. It's something that you feel like you're contributing to the world in your own ways, in your own way, based on your talents and your natural skills. So being bold means making your daily choices, making weekly choices, building your inner strength surrounding with people that believe in you, and then that bigger picture is your purpose. That's why I said, make these little choices every day. It's kind of knitting, putting one after the other. Then you build, your sweater. Basically, you knit your sweater, or you knit your blanket, or you knit whatever you knit, because I did it for a while. So I'm giving you that example because it's a work in patience. So I really believe that if you are still here with me listening to this, and you have gone through, or you're going through breast cancer treatment, and or you are in remission, you are here because there's something unfinished. It's time to get to it. Unfinished, maybe relationships, maybe work, maybe, I don't know what your contribution is in the world here, but I'm here to tell you that you are given time to really come full circle with that. And again, I don't know what that time is, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm here to tell you that you can make it happen. So I'm going to backtrack and just keep it simple today. I'm going to review what we talked about, and I'm going to give you homework and assignment. And I'm going to invite you to post, if you listen to this after we're done with this, this recording, I'm going to ask you to post some comments, or feel free to email me. I will post on the page, this group, yes, Women Saying Yes to Living Life Beyond Breast Cancer, a link to my calendar, and you can book a session with me. Now, the goal of that session is to have a conversation where I will listen mostly and ask you some questions, and I'm going to have you answer those questions. And those questions will be along the same lines of what we've been talking about today and yesterday. How to calm down your fear and come back to your truth, and design in your mind's eye the thing that you really want. Because we live this parallel reality. We're maybe afraid, feel like we don't believe we can have what we want. We don't have the willpower. We don't know if we will ever have that. And then at the same time, a part of us knows of what we're capable of. So that's what I do with people. I listen to you and what you really want. And I keep tuning the dial more into that reality, and help you downshift or reduce the tone or the volume on the dial that tells you can't have what you want. So that's what these sessions are about. We spend half an hour to 45 minutes talking about what you want, and see and hear what stands in the way, and try to bridge between what stands in the way to what you want, a plan of action. So that's what these breakthrough sessions, it's called Yes to My Life Breakthrough Session with me. So that's it. I'm going to go back to the homework for a second. You're going to take some time, and you're going to ask yourself, you're going to root down, calm down, craft about maybe half an hour of your day, maybe an hour, maybe write, maybe think, maybe walk in the woods, come back to yourself and say, okay, what do I want? What do I want my life to be like today? And what do I want the big picture of my life to be today? And then you're going to literally say, okay, I can have it. I believe I can have it. So what choices am I going to make to align with what I want? And then you're going to establish priority number 3. How do I prioritize every day so that these things I say I want are happening? Even the teeniest little step. And then you're going to go and organize your schedule around it. Your priorities are going to be in your schedule. And then you're going to say no to certain things and people, and yes to other things. So you're going to have strong boundaries. And then you're going to seek support. You're going to look for people. I could be part of your support team. I believe I can, because I have been part of many people's support team, and I have many people around me who are part of my support team. So you're going to basically surround yourself, find one person. You don't have to have a whole village there. One person that is willing to listen to what you basically came to in your inner journey. Okay, so that's the homework. And again, by the end of today, you will have a link to my calendar. Maybe not today, tomorrow. You will have a link to my calendar. And if you want to have this conversation with me, I would be more than delighted to have it with you at no cost. So I know that Kristen is in the background, and I don't have to call her forward. Thank you for holding space with us. And unless you want to pipe in, but otherwise I'm going to thank you. And I know we're going to be, oh, there she is. Hi, Kristen. Is there anything you want to say? Oh, I think you're muted.
That was very, I mean, I was obviously listening to the whole thing, but it was very helpful even for those of us that are not battling cancer. And it definitely helped me set the tone for my day. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to sharing these videos with my friend who is battling and is in her second remission. So thank you for the work you do. It really is priceless, Chantal. And I'm so happy to support you and that people have you as a resource. It's amazing.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. You really touched my heart. Thank you. I hope you have a good day today. And people, check if you're listening to this, go check out Motherhood Magic on Facebook, right? Is that it? Am I doing it correctly?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, Motherhood Magic on Facebook.
Okay, great. All right. So I hope that you have a good day, Christian, and everybody else. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.